I started the business because I've always kind of wanted a project in life or to be able to do my own thing. And I just became really passionate about social media marketing and the creativity that it allows and the impact that it can have. I had a background in journalism and I had worked some kind of corporate marketing jobs prior to getting into social media, and I really wasn't that passionate about them. And then when I had my first social media job, it really opened my eyes as to how fun and how creative and how the impact that it can really make. And I just became obsessed with it and decided that was going to be what I wanted to really focus on.
In a world drowning in content, most of it disappears the second it's posted, but Marcus Logan's doesn't. Marcus is the founder of Via Digital, New Zealand's leading social-first marketing agency. In 2025 alone, his team generated 338 million organic views for their clients. Not paid, but organic. He's behind some of New Zealand's biggest podcast success stories, Between Two Bears, the Dom Harvey podcast, Sports Cafe, and Rugby Rivals with Sir John Kerwin and Victor Matfield, which became the largest independent rugby podcast on YouTube globally. But Marcus doesn't just understand algorithms, he understands people. What makes them stop, what makes them feel, and what makes them share. This is a conversation about presence, storytelling, and why the humans who show up most authentically are the ones the world can't look away from. Marcus Logan, welcome to my show.
Thank you so much for having me. Great to be here.
Awesome. Now, Marcus, I start every show with a little bit of quick-fire questions to let people get to know you a little bit.
Cool.
A bit of an insight into you. You okay to do this?
Yeah.
You ready?
Go.
You ready?
Let's do it.
Okay. So, Instagram or LinkedIn?
Ooh. Can I say both?
No, it's one or the other. One or the other.
For myself, I would say LinkedIn.
Yeah.
But also Instagram is incredibly powerful and it's kind of what we focus on for a lot of our clients.
Yep.
So if I could say both, I'd say both.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Yeah. These are here to test you think. Podcast listener or music?
Podcast.
Yep, nice. Coffee or energy drink?
Coffee.
Coffee. Create the content or grow the audience? It's a fine line between that in terms of what you do.
Yeah, and we do both, but I would say grow the audience.
Grow the audience, yeah. Big stage or behind the scenes?
Now I would say big stage, but
Yes.
I have been behind the scenes for most of my career, but I would say it's kind of transitioning a bit at the moment. So,
okay, nice. Organic reach or paid ads?
Organic reach, easy.
Can't wait to talk about that. 1 killer post a week or daily content?
1 killer post a week.
1 killer post a week. All right, folks, there you have it. Quick insight to his thinking. Now, I see this interview as a little different to my other guests, but there's a beautiful crossover between what you do and your world and mine.
Cool.
So you help people find their presence and their voice online. I help people find their presence and influence in life and leadership. And so I want to delve into the work that you do and the difference it makes to people and to brands. So let's go back some years. Marcus, Via Digital is described as an organic-first social marketing powerhouse. Sounds impressive, hey? Why did you start the business?
I started the business because I've always kind of wanted a project in life or to be able to do my own thing. And I just became really passionate about social media marketing and the creativity that it allows and the impact that it can have. I had a background in journalism and I had worked some kind of corporate marketing jobs prior to getting into social media, and I really wasn't that passionate about them. And then when I had my first social media job, it really opened my eyes as to how fun and how creative and how the impact that it can really make. And I just became obsessed with it and decided that was going to be what I wanted to really focus on. And so I started the business basically just as an extension of that, and really wanting to have my own thing that I steered the ship on and had full control over.
Yeah, I love that. And those moments where something just hits you and you go, this is it, are so powerful, aren't they? When you just feel like it is something within you that you just go, this is what I want to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. I had a few
amazing. Well, and I often see people who have those moments who go on to do a business that are extremely successful because the passion isn't just financially motivated, it's internally motivated as well, mentally, emotionally.
Yep.
So what does organic first actually mean, and why does it matter more than ever right now?
Organic first means that we take a content approach that is focused on social media, first and foremost, as our priority. And organic first being that we create the content and we put it out and post it on the free channels. So across Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube, YouTube Shorts, and the podcast platforms. And why it's so powerful is the way social media works now, and the way that the algorithms have changed is that they no longer reward having a lot of followers, but they reward the quality of content that gets put out.
Yeah, big change.
Yeah, so now every time you go on any platform really, and increasingly so, you are served up content that matches your interests and your past behavior, and the best performing content in those spaces gets shown to you rather than the people that you actually follow. So that is a good and a bad thing. The bad thing is that it's harder to reach the people that actually signed up to follow you. But the exciting thing is that your content gets exposed to non-followers as well. And at an increasing rate. So you now get rewarded for creativity and quality of content versus the size of your followers. So it's actually a really exciting time for social media, particularly organic social media. And we love organic because that's the way that we really see that strong brands get built, loyal audiences get built. And you can't necessarily pay for some of these things.
I agree.
Paid can help to get seen by new people that could become audience members. But I sort of treat paid as kind of an after approach. After focusing first on organic content.
Yeah, love it. And you're right, it's totally shifted from what I've seen in the last few years. And it was kind of felt unfair because all those people with the massive followers, it was all about them. And it was like, but what about me?
And it would take so long to build that audience. To reach
one by one, and then you lose a few, and then more come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely fascinating. And I think today's episode and talking with you will be such a great insight for the listeners who have businesses or are trying to build businesses or brands online. So I love that explanation that you just did because, it was almost like a 10-year-old could go, oh, yeah, I get that. So great. You studied journalism before moving to social media, which I find fascinating because you probably, tell me if I'm wrong, understood the story first before you understood distribution?
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
Did they really teach you about story in journalism?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, growing up, I wanted to be a writer. I wanted to be writing like big think pieces or like feature-length articles about issues and stories and everything. And I had a number of like blogs growing up. I think I started like 3 or 4 different blogs. This is in the era where blogging was actually cool and relevant. So that's where I first started getting really passionate about it. And through the journalism degree, they obviously teach you, what is a good story, what's a good angle, how do you present content in a way that is going to appeal to people to read about it, how do you package a story. Those things do translate really well to social media. So I didn't know it at the time, but those were kind of planting the seeds for what I would go on to do.
Little did you know. And I think, when you have that ability to tell a good story, you're way ahead of any marketer because it's something that you learn. It's not just a natural
definitely. And I haven't had any education in marketing. I didn't study marketing at all. I just kind of fell into it, really, after my communications degree.
And it's funny, because I studied marketing when I was at university donkeys years ago, and it was so theoretical and, just so different to what it is today.
Yes.
And even back then, I remember thinking, how is this relevant in the real world?
Yeah.
But actually, the whole story is what they should be focusing on, because everybody loves a story, whether it's marketing or not. You love a good yarn,
Absolutely.
good story.
Yeah.
So then you launched via digital in 2022, Solo Contractor, your business.
Yes.
You now lead a team of 9. Still 9? Yep.
10.
Inside $1 million business. Yeah.
Yeah.
Impressive. Amazing. Because we're, 4 years later? Not even, 4 years later. That's incredible. Great business story. Great entrepreneurial story there too. What was the hardest part of that part of the journey? You starting and then, I need to get more help.
Yeah, I suppose there's been lots of hard things along the way. It's kind of like every step is hard and challenging, like making the decision to leave the job that I had prior to doing this was hard because, it was a great role and
Security.
and I loved it. I loved the people that I worked with. So making the decision that was based in Hamilton, so I made the decision to move back to Auckland, which was hard. I moved back in with my dad. I was 27, 28 years old. Just, started this in one of his spare bedrooms. And then going out and having to cold email people, cold call people to try to get work was hard. So in the first part of my journey, I was still contracting to that last agency that I worked with prior. So then there was a point where I moved away from doing work for them, and it was just my own income or just my own retainers that I was kind of living off. So that was hard. Hiring someone for the first time was hard.
Responsibility.
Being responsible for somebody else.
Yeah.
And then, just every step on the way has been challenging. I suppose right now is probably the most challenging it's been. We've now got a team of 10, and we are splitting up the business to have 2 separate divisions. So one is a media kind of pod, which has all our podcast clients that we do all the marketing for. Yep. And then the other is a pod of all of the business and brands that we work with.
Yep.
And then obviously that has a big overhead of team, so I have to make sure that we're, generating enough revenue from our clients. So, the bigger that you get, the more stressful that becomes. So I would say right now is probably the most challenging. It's for so long it was just me kind of battling away. And so now it's about, building a culture, building a team, building reliable revenue streams.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah.
And, I don't think anyone, unless they've been in their own business, actually understands what it's like to generate every dollar yourself and be the centre of that. I've been self-employed for 30 years.
Yeah,
and so I know that journey extremely well. I've done 3 startups.
Yep.
And it is scary, and it's that next step and that next step, and you have to back yourself every day, and you're making decisions, and then you have staff, and you've got to be responsible for them. So, I admire you for the journey that you've been on, because I know how hard it is. You probably get that same thing of, oh, you're so lucky you work for yourself. It's like, yeah, it might be, but what you don't see is this. Amazing, great story. And that would have been just after COVID, wouldn't it? 2022. Yeah. So even braver at that time to go, actually, I'm going out on my own.
Yeah, I kind of just decided that I would make a decision and just do it no matter what the circumstance, because, things are always going to be up in the air. Things are always going to be uncertain. So you may as well just do it. Like, there's no better time than now.
Absolutely.
No matter the situation. And you look at the past 4 years too, it hasn't been smooth sailing at all.
No.
And it's never going to be smooth sailing.
And in actual fact, when you think about the COVID and everybody locked away, actually online became even more important because there weren't so many of those in-person events and that kind of stuff. So it kind of played your way as well.
Yeah, I didn't realise that would be the case, but it was that most businesses were then like, oh, actually our online presence is terrible. We don't have any social media. Everyone's at home on their phones.
Yeah.
what do we do?
Put the spotlight on it.
So a lot of them did pivot to taking social media more seriously.
Amazing. Nice play. Sometimes it's always about timing.
Yeah.
Did you have people saying to you, what are you doing? Like, why are you giving up a job and going out on your own? Or people pretty supportive?
Yeah, not really. Like my family are really supportive. My dad had an amazing career in business, so he was quite excited and helped me a lot.
Yes.
So yeah, I was just surrounded by support really, which was
love it.
Which
That's
was really
what
lucky.
we need.
Yeah.
That's what we need.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not those people going, what are you doing? Giving up your job. So, you've had some incredible success in the last couple of years, and I hope these numbers are right. 338 million organic views in a single year.
Yep.
A million views a day. Yep. And growing. What does that number actually mean in the real world? And did you ever imagine that you'd be sitting there looking at those numbers going, this is, the start?
Yeah, it is quite surreal. What the number actually means is, the content that we edit and distribute for our clients is getting viewed at that rate across all of those social media channels that I named earlier. Mm-hmm. And it is quite mind-boggling, especially the fact that we live in New Zealand and there's only 5 million people here. Yeah. So to be pulling in those kind of views means that every Kiwi has probably seen a piece of our client's content, X
amazing.
Number of times. It's really exciting, and we're on track to do much more than that this year as well.
Growing every day. Every day is another opportunity, isn't it?
Yep.
So you Between Two Bears podcast, the Dom Harvey Show, Sports Cafe, so many more, I can't even name them, that you've worked with, and they've all had massive growth, big numbers, and you helped bring these brands to life. What did you see in those shows early on that told you this has got potential?
Yeah, Between Two Bears is an interesting one because Seamus, one of the co-hosts, I actually worked with him at the marketing agency that I worked with in Hamilton. Yeah. And he had the podcast then, and it was kind of just something he did on the side. Small, I didn't really pay any attention to it at all until I moved back. I'd started my business. I was still a one-man band, and he reached out for some help with their social media. So that was the first time I really took a proper look at what he was doing. And I saw some of the guests that they had, big name Olympians and All Blacks and sports people. And then I went away, and I have been a big podcast consumer for a long time. Yep. I was pretty early into kind of starting to consume podcasts. Mm-hmm. And I just saw the way that these other shows were marketing themselves, and I looked at what they were doing at the time. Mm. And they just weren't putting out anywhere near the volume of content that most other shows were. So I just saw a massive opportunity to present them a strategy, and every episode, here's what we'll do. We'll create a trailer that leaves people wanting more, that we'll put out at the same time as the show goes up. We'll mine each episode for as much content as we can. We will get the guests to be sharing the content on their platforms, and they're just so good at what they do that I knew that they were going to be successful. Very much the same with Dom as well. So I suppose it was just about bringing a strategic, really focused approach to social media and YouTube to get more out of what they were already doing. Yeah. To stop leaving content on the table and to have a system that's repeatable, that's going to allow it to scale. I was going to
say, is it just a formula that you that's almost the same?
It is, yeah.
With a slight variation depending on...
We've tweaked it a lot over time. So what we do now looks very much different to what it looked like, even a year ago. Yeah. Particularly the trailers that we do for Between Two Bears, those are... I like to think that they're the best podcast marketing in New Zealand. And it's something that we constantly develop and spend so much time going over. And, every episode could be different too. Like last week, we put out the Stephen Adams episode for Between Two Bears.
Oh, yes. Yep.
And that looked a lot different to most release strategies. We would do a trailer, a carousel of quotes, and 3 clips from an episode. But for Steve, we did 12 clips. Wow. A trailer and a carousel. And
they're all little moments, are they?
Yeah, exactly.
That make people go, I want to listen more. I want to listen.
Exactly. Yeah. So every episode is different because, the content that you get is different. And if it's an episode where we don't see as many content opportunities, we don't just pull it for the sake of content.
Yeah.
You know, we make sure that it is really worthy of being shared. So
yeah. Are you looking for those little tease moments where people go, oh, what's
like
that?
we'll do a trailer that basically leaves people wanting more. You know, leave some kind of like unresolved stories that people want to find the answers to.
Stories, yep.
And then for like the standalone clips that we'll do, we think, is this a piece of content that someone's going to share to their friend or share to their group chat or comment on or save this to come back and watch it later? So yeah, that's kind of the thinking behind it.
It's amazing. I'd love to see the whole process from start to beginning of, you know, what
takes
how
a long
it goes.
time.
I can imagine. So, you know, you work with some of the biggest names in New Zealand media. So when you first sit down with a client, what are you actually looking for? You know, even if they're just starting and they're saying, I've got this idea, I want to do a show or...
Yeah. First and foremost is, you know, what's their goal? What do they want to achieve? Why are they interested in, you know, social media support or, you know, social media marketing services? And then it's a really thorough understanding of their audience. You know, who is your current audience, and then who do you want to be reaching, and who is, you know, a preferred target audience to increase that pool. And then it's, okay, what type of content is going to most move this audience that we have in mind? And then we basically work out a blueprint on how we get there. And then we set a system in place on how does that actually come about.
Yep.
So we have some clients where we'll go and shoot the content for them. And then we edit it and post it on their behalf. For other people, we receive their content, we receive podcasts, and then we strategically curate it and distribute it based on that. But yeah, the first steps are what's your goal and who's our audience.
Yep, simple. And I guess you always hope that if the client is feeding you that content, that you don't look at it and go, oh geez, what do we do with this? How do we make this look good?
Yeah, that's definitely happened before, but I think all our clients now are really open to feedback and input and having a kind of two-way relationship. Yeah. That's really important in this space.
Which it should be, hey?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Clients talk about your ability to nail the tone. And that's not a data skill, that's a human skill. How do you describe that, and can it be actually taught?
Yeah, I think, I do think it needs a layer of emotional intelligence or empathy, you know, the ability to put yourself in the client's shoe and also the audience's shoe. You know,
audience, very important.
Yeah. I mean, audience first is massively important for us. That's, you know, coming back to that understanding of who are we trying to reach is then how are we going to talk to them and making sure you're staying true to that brand or that client. I think it's all about empathy. You know, marketing is so much about empathy and emotional intelligence. So I do think it is a trainable skill, but also there is something that is really kind of intuitive and gut instinct that comes into it as well. And that just comes with, you know, the number of reps that you're doing, you know, how often are you...
I can imagine actually, and so that builds and builds and builds. It's a little bit like, for me, you know, I've worked with thousands of clients, and I can sit with someone and I'm very intuitive, just listening to them, what they're talking about. I'm going, oh yeah. You know, you get that gut feel, that pickup.
Yeah.
And so probably a little bit the same.
Yeah, absolutely. And being a good listener, you know, I'm naturally quite an introverted person, and I kind of like soak up other people's thoughts and perspectives and everything. So I think that helps.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
You've worked with well-known personalities, as we've talked about, some big names, who already have a public profile. But is there a difference between someone who is famous and someone who has a genuine presence online? You know, you can get someone who's really famous, and, you know, you see them all the time that are just, you know, out there, and you sort of go, oh, okay, for whatever it is that they, you know, it might be crazy pranks or whatever.
Yep.
But is there that opportunity for people who have that real genuine presence?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, totally. It's all about, you know, the value of your audience too, and just having a big audience or having big awareness about yourself doesn't necessarily mean you have a valuable audience. You know,
no, that's very true.
There's lots of people that might have, you know, 5,000, 10,000 followers, but all of those followers are are high value, they match that target audience that we're talking about really closely, that's far more valuable than having, hundreds of thousands of followers that don't really give a crap about you, but they're there for funny skits or whatever.
It'll be entertainment, in there, out there.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why a lot of people, or a lot of businesses, a lot of brands, or a lot of people try to, recreate viral skits and memes and chase trends and everything. I mean, we don't do much of that because we see that as kind of, flash in the pan, very shallow engagement. We want to build content that really has a depth to it that reflects the brand that we're marketing, and also matches the audience that we want to build and gives them something that's valuable. So I mean,
I like that.
There's that theory about all you need is 1,000 true fans, which I believe in a lot.
I do too, actually, because I don't have a massive following, but my followers are just such amazing people, and they'll take the time to send me an email about something that really hit them or related or whatever, and I so appreciate that. I'd far rather have that any day than some of the flash in the pan kind of comments of...
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I don't even have 2,000 followers on LinkedIn, but my lead pipeline is like completely full from just posting twice a week on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I get my business from LinkedIn mainly as well, and then that just goes on to word of mouth, hey?
Yeah.
Because,
And LinkedIn is such a magic platform for people like us, for business owners.
And so many people don't like it.
Yeah, but
I love LinkedIn.
I love LinkedIn too, and it's really easy to stand out there, I think, if you show up and you're actually genuine and you're not trying to kind of, just do AI posts every day to tick off, I post every day on LinkedIn, tick a box. It's really easy to get cut through if you're actually authentic and vulnerable, all these kind of buzzwords. It is actually true.
I totally, I've learned that. I've learned that over the years. And I think also I don't get so hung up about, how many likes or comments or whatever, because actually, probably reading. Like you, it's that pipeline that keeps full, and people say, I've been following you for a few years and now I need something, and da-da-da-da-da. You just go, okay. So,
and you never know who's watching or who's reading.
I know. I go to events and people go, oh, I love your content, or you did something last week, or I signed up to this, and you just go, wow, there's a whole lot of people out there who aren't even visible. Who, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, exactly.
It's nice. And I think this goes to, I believe that people who are successful online aren't necessarily the ones with the best equipment or the massive budgets. They're the ones who know who they are, show up with intention, and kind of make people feel that they're real. You know what I mean? You can get that real fakeness.
Absolutely.
And they show up online and you can kind of feel them, I suppose. And then some other people look really polished but feel hollow. There's probably a word that I quite like. What is the invisible factor that makes a difference?
I think it is just about being honest and not trying to be someone that you're not. People have a real sixth sense for that on social media. If someone is, pretending to be someone they're not, or copying another style of person or a certain creator in their kind of niche. There's a lot of that happens because it's quite easy to do. You see someone else kind of, talking a certain way or writing a certain way or talking about the same kind of topics. It's really easy to kind of chase that or chase new things, picking up Claude for a month and then you're a AI expert.
Yeah, so much of it.
Yeah, I think that is increasingly turning people off. So I think it is just about being honest, not presenting yourself like you're someone that's, figured everything out, but, talking about struggles or insecurities or vulnerabilities, all of these things are, they help people connect to you. People want to see people that they can relate to.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And I think there's so much, I think probably a couple of years ago, there were so many people, there still are, who are the, what do they call them? The lifestyle business, who are travelling around and going, look at me, and I make this much money, blah 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 blah, and here I am sitting in Bali on a beach.
Yeah, totally.
And I just go, I'm so sick of seeing that kind of thing. And then I've known people who've been that, but actually they're on the bones of their ass.
Totally.
And not making any money. And it's like, bullshit.
Yeah, 100%.
I can see your bullshit.
Yeah, most of them aren't.
Yeah. Drives me nuts. Yeah. In fact, actually, I've started on all my social media cutting out more and more people because I just go, so fake. I'm so sick of seeing that.
I don't think you're alone there. I think that's increasingly felt by most people.
Yeah. Audience psychology is a huge part of your methodology. What have you actually learnt, and we've probably talked about a little bit about this, what humans actually really respond to? Is there anything that you've discovered that you didn't expect?
Yeah, I think people want to feel something, that's why people are ultimately on social media and using these social media platforms. They want to feel connected. They want to feel seen. They want to feel inspired. They want to laugh. They want to cry. They want to share something with other people. The more that you can make people feel a certain emotion in social media content, I didn't realize, the scale of that.
Of how much people are really craving that.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's also because, what I see in my work is disconnection is such a big thing. Yep. And, like 1 in 3 people now are lonely, and that's a global stat. And I can believe that, more and more people withdrawing. So people are desperate to feel something and feel connection.
Yeah, it is the sad reality of the world. People are lonely. They're spending more time on their devices, and they're still searching for that connection. And if we can help them fill that with some content that is going to connect with them on a human level, then it's going to work really well. It is sad, but it's just the reality of the world that we're living in. One example comes to mind of a Between Two Beers episode. Yeah. One of their guests was Dr. Lucy Hone.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I know Lucy.
She lost her daughter in a
car accident.
Terrible accident. And she came on the show, and her entire goal is to raise awareness about, what it's like to grieve, how to grieve properly, and basically, educate people around grief. And she shared the story of Abby, her daughter's passing, and we turned that into the trailer for the episode, and it just went viral globally, like millions and millions and millions of views. And she actually came into the office and did another podcast here a few weeks after, and she said that trailer changed her life.
Wow, she really? Just so much speaking business and people wanting to connect with her.
She was getting inquiries from all around the world.
Oh, I love that.
She got great. I think like 20,000 new followers on Instagram.
Wow.
Just from that episode coming out. So I think that speaks to, that content. It connected with so many people all around the world.
And that's so raw. It's so raw and real. And
I think that's the biggest piece of content we've ever done, I think, was Dr. Lucy's, and she doesn't have a massive profile. People, if that pops up on your feed, you're not going to necessarily recognise her, but you can, connect with the emotion and the experience, and it's helped her achieve her goals of, connecting people to this emotion. And I think that just speaks to, the power of social media to share these, stories and connect with people through social media.
Yeah, it's a good reminder. As we're talking, my mind's going, I really need to tell some more stories.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, I think most people would agree with this. There's an aspect of social media that actually feels exhausting, a bit performative and fake, and there's another that feels live, real, and engaging. How do you help clients find that alive and engaging? If you look at something and go, it's just another vanilla post that goes through.
Yeah. I think we always, try to work with a client to feel more. We always try to get stuff that feels organic.
Yeah.
So even if it's recording on like something on a phone versus filming it on like a professional camera and audio setup, Yeah, I think a lot of it is that intuitive
Just goes
sense.
back to that,
of that intuitive sense of, what's going to actually work and connect with people. Yeah.
And I think, again, that's interesting because there'll be some people who get that.
Yes.
And some people who just can't.
Yeah.
Because they struggle anyway to connect,
Yeah. And people oftentimes think that they have to be a certain way on social media, pick up their phone and be like, "Hi guys, it's Marcus Logan here, just, coming to you from the Essence Within You podcast."
Yeah.
But
hi, my name's la la la.
Yeah, exactly.
And I just wanted to pop on here and say, give me a break.
But the more casual and more relaxed and more authentic you are, the better it's going to work. So I think it's about losing that kind of mindset about I've got to put on my best self.
It's that performative side, isn't
exactly,
it, that I was just talking about.
Scale that right down and just be normal like you would be in person.
Yeah, love it. 338 million views, $1 million business, a team of 9. Marcus, behind all of that success, what has been the personal cost? Because I know what it takes to build a business, but what does it take out of you to scale at that level?
Oh, definitely energy, time. Yeah, I think I've probably drifted away from quite a few friends over the course of the last, 4 years. People that might not necessarily understand what I'm doing or what it takes. And then other people that, think that you've changed or...
you're always so busy.
Or think that
you haven't got time.
Kind of think that you're, too big for your own boots type thing. So definitely that, you have to sacrifice a lot of extra hours, evenings and weekends and it's just the time and the energy, Luckily, I've got an amazing partner who supports me so much and has been there from the start. And she actually works with us now. She's part of the team.
Oh, it was a good way to get more bonding time.
But I met her right when I was beginning, and she was bought into it right straight away.
Yeah.
And I think that's made our relationship really solid and strong, and that's been massive.
Which is great because that doesn't always work when you're working in a business. I mean, I've worked with my husband in business, and I can tell you we both said, maybe never again.
It can go good or it can go bad.
Exactly. And it's that you've got to really have that respect. And it's funny, though, because out of that experience of working together, I have a newfound respect for what he's really good at and what I'm good at and vice versa. And so if we did a business now, I think we would be more successful because we've both, gone our separate ways to do our own businesses. But then now we get it and we see it and you go, why were we in competition or why did that, we can see why it didn't work.
Yeah.
So it's amazing you can crack it
right
off.
Touch wood. It's going well. But and also I think just the cost as well, you have to, fund everything yourself. You've got to fork out huge amounts of money before the money might come back to you. So you have to make a lot of financial investments as well without, the proof that it's actually going to pay off. And I think it can also be quite isolating as well. You kind of are in your own little world that only you really understand, and you're carrying all these things around with you at all times. Every client relationship, especially with social media, it's like every bit of content that goes out, especially because social media, everything's public, right? So if something doesn't work, everyone can see it, and if they know they're a client of yours, it's like, that didn't work. That wasn't
so good.
And then conversely, if something does work, it's amazing, but you still have that pressure of the public performance of everything that we do.
Definitely.
So that's really quite taxing as well. Something I battled with much more when I was starting as opposed to now. There's huge cost.
There's a lot
of
cost, isn't there?
Definitely.
And I think, you mentioned that you're a bit of an introvert anyway, so that you have to be careful of that isolation, that your world doesn't become your just your business.
Yeah.
And your partner's in your business, so that's quite comfortable, isn't it?
I love it. But I'm just like an obsessive kind of person as well. I get really obsessed with things, and right now this is my entire life. It is my obsession.
And I think you have to make a business successful at some point.
Yeah.
But there's also that danger, as I see, and I coach a lot of business owners and senior execs around who are you without your business.
Yeah.
Because your identity starts folding into the business. It's
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
this is who I am.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is, and you pull that away and go, oh, who am I? You know,
Yeah.
I've got a couple of clients now who are wanting to retire, but they're going, who am I without my business? Or they're selling their business going, yeah, but what then? What then? Who am I?
What next? Yeah. I mean, I'm in the thick of that at the moment.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah.
Amazing. You were, you know, as we've said, you reach so many people every single day. Do you ever stop and think about the ripple effect of that, the responsibility of that kind of reach? Or is it just part of the data and on you go?
Yeah.
Like, is there something within you that you just go, wow?
Yeah, quite often.
Yeah.
Not all the time. Like a lot of what we do, it's just output. You know, it's meeting one deadline
data,
and putting out all of your content, and then moving on to the next, you know, to the next post or whatever. But quite often, I will sit back and just think, wow, you know, I mentioned the Stephen Adams episode of Between Two Beers earlier. You know, sitting back and looking at that, I think all of the content now has reached, you know, 20 million people.
Crazy.
It's found its way into all of these NBA communities on Reddit and Twitter.
Huge.
It's had articles written about it in Sports Illustrated and Yahoo Sports, and they've picked up like the angles that I chose for clips and the episode title and the thumbnails. I know that's how these media companies have picked it up and framed their stories around it. And I'm a massive basketball fan. I grew up playing basketball. I actually played against Stephen Adams.
Oh, funny.
So, you know, sitting back and looking at that, it's like, that is amazing. It's awesome to have done that from New Zealand as well.
Incredible.
So, yeah. I try not to do it too often, but you do sometimes.
I think it's so important to actually really feel that and just stop. Because, you know, again, when you own your own business and you get those successes, it's like, right, what's next? And on to the next. But actually celebrating that and saying, God, this is good. The team and I are doing a bloody good job here and acknowledging it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. We touched briefly on AI before. You know, AI is rewriting content creation at speed and everybody's just going, oh, my social media is solved. People think it's incredibly helpful, but what is it that AI can't do?
AI can't be human, right? It can't actually understand what it is to be a human in New Zealand. You know, it oftentimes doesn't have the kind of cultural context, the historical context of the places that we are and the experiences that we've had. I think AI as a content creation tool is still not great, and I don't know if it ever will get there. I mean, amazing for automating tasks and admin and brainstorming and, you know, all these bits and pieces that we use. I mean, I use AI every day, but I still think it's never going to be able to bring the same level of empathy, emotional intelligence, audience understanding as an actual human being, which I think is first and foremost the most important thing about marketing and content creation. You know, so I see people posting AI content all the time, you know, doing AI generated images, editing their videos using AI. And I just think, you know, it can be quick and cheap, but it's ultimately not going to have the same cut through. I believe, and at least not yet, as actual human beings.
I think you're right. You know, someone said to me, AI doesn't have a soul.
Yeah, exactly. Does it store all these amazing
experiences that can be transferred, you know, in the way that people talk or show up?
Yeah, like, can it create timeless great art?
No.
Where I think of marketing as an art form, you know, and content creation as an art form. So we'll wait and see what it's going to be like in the next few years.
Well, actually, that leads in as a segue to my next question, which is about what does New Zealand's digital media landscape look like in 5 years? And where do you see you and your business sitting inside that?
Interesting. I think from a media perspective, there's going to be more and more independent creators and shows that are going to dominate the landscape, and the traditional media will become increasingly irrelevant
you're right.
and less impactful. You know,
so you're saying people will choose more shows like this one, to watch.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because they're honing in more on what they actually want to listen to and what they want to see, rather than just being served up.
Yeah, like you look at the top podcasts in New Zealand at the moment, it's, Between Two Beers and The Morning Shift and Dom Harvey podcast. Those are not, traditional media establishment, big corporate media shows. They're independents. So I think we're going to see an increasing amount of that. Hopefully more and more businesses get behind, social media content creation. There's kind of a thought or a saying that every business should be a media business as well. And I believe that. Yeah.
I follow Stephen Bartlett.
Yeah.
And from Diary of a CEO, and I look at his trajectory and his business, and now he's mainly a media business and just phenomenal. And you go, that was pretty smart.
Yeah, exactly. Social media is going to continue to evolve and become more powerful. And if I think more and more businesses will adopt that kind of thinking, that they need to have some kind of media component to what they do, whether that's a YouTube channel or a really great social feed on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok. I hope that that's the trajectory that we're going on, but I think we're pretty behind the times. When I first started, I was thinking, we're behind the times. Most businesses don't even use social media marketing yet, but still most. I think there's a stat: 50% of businesses in New Zealand don't use social media for marketing. That blows my mind.
I know that blows my mind too, but I can also believe it. Like even yesterday, I was looking at a company, a couple of companies. I was doing some research, and then I would click on their social media on their websites, and I was like, okay, so they haven't posted anything for 5 months or 10 months. And you go, okay, what about the other channel? Yeah, no. It's almost like people go, it's too hard, don't have time, and so they just forget about it.
Yeah, exactly. And is that like a recognition that it's not valuable enough to be spending time on? I think there's probably a bit of that.
Yeah, because they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's a bit of a perception error, but, for half of New Zealand's businesses to not even be doing social media marketing is just, it's insane.
It does blow my mind.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like running a business, using cable, old school, dial-up internet versus on fibre internet,
And also, there are so many, I can't remember what the percentage are, but, aren't we about 70% small businesses in New Zealand? Yeah. So what the hell are they doing?
Yeah, I think even more than that. Yeah, it's such a big missed opportunity that I've been waiting for it to kind of, correct over time, but it seems like we're still
It's all coming your way. All coming your way. If you had one message for business owners and creators, we're talking about businesses and, 50% are not, what advice would you give them?
I think don't be afraid to put yourself out there and share your story and share your perspectives and show the work that you do and talk about the work that you do.
Yeah.
I think a big part of that too in New Zealand is like the tall poppy syndrome, the fear of being cringe or someone making fun of you or whatever. And I think that still bleeds into even, people that might be in their middle ages and have businesses that still feel like, it's a bit cringe to be posting about this. I think we have to get over that if we want to have successful businesses and do meaningful work. Social media is the new shop front. It's the new playground that everyone's, spending their time in. And if you're going to be invisible there, then you are just leaving so much on the table and you're losing the chance to connect with, millions of people.
Well, I agree. And a lot of the work that I do on one of my side business is about helping people elevate their presence because it is your influence. And my theory behind all of that is people do business with people. A brand is important, but people do business with people.
Absolutely.
So if you're not showing up, if you're not connecting, if you're not having a platform to show who you are and what your story is, then
you're going to be invisible. Yeah, you can show up to all the physical networking events that you want, but you'll never have the same reach as if you made a cool video and it, gets tens of thousands of views. You're never going to reach the same number of people by going to, 50 to 100 different networking events.
No.
I think there's a lot of old school kind of mentality in New Zealand businesses as well, like lots of, traditional industries and, jobs that people wouldn't think that social media would be right for them. But the reality is that social media is right for everyone because everyone is on it. all the time, all day. And there's so many opportunities to get in front of them.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree with that. And I also see, again, for a lot of people that I work with, it's that having that courage to step up and be online, because it's that fear of being judged and knocked down and who the hell do you think you are, and that was crap, and you know, all the rest. So then it's easy just to hide and not be there.
Totally. And it is a muscle though, you know, like I was still hesitating and cringing at myself before posting on LinkedIn, but sometimes you just have to like hit post and walk away and
go,
forget that you did
whatever.
it. Yeah, and check back and, you know, the next day or whatever. But it does get easier to put yourself out there and trust yourself, and, you know, you do have something valuable to share. You do have a story that's worth hearing.
Yeah, and I always believe, I mean, I'm an oldie in my business, you know, world, but it's just like, I don't care. I've got something to share, and if I can change one person's life or make a difference in their day, then I'm going to keep showing up.
Absolutely. And every post you make is just, you know, it's putting another Lego block on a tower, or, you know, you're building it brick by brick too, right? Like that's how brands get built now. It's brick by brick. It's post by post.
Yeah, nice analogy.
You look back a year later and you're going to have so much, you know, engagement and awareness and audience, but it doesn't happen without just taking that first step and the next one and the next one and the next one.
What are your dreams with your business? Like what's your ultimate? You must have one.
I just really love the work that we're doing. I really love the clients that we have. I really love the opportunities that we get to share people's stories and perspectives and help them achieve their dreams and their goals. I want to keep growing our business. I want to work with more and more clients that are doing really awesome things and that I really believe in. I would really love to, you know, expand to Australia, to really just pioneer social media marketing, to pioneer podcast marketing in Australia and New Zealand, and be kind of, you know, the household name for what we do. Yeah. Be recognised as, you know, the best. I think that's about it.
That's about it. Yeah. You don't want to buy a super yacht one day?
No, definitely not.
When you look back at everything you've built, what do you hope your impact has been? Now, this is coming into a little bit about you, your legacy.
Yeah. I'd like to be just someone that thought differently, that saw opportunities and took action and created something great. And someone that kind of pioneered certain spaces.
Yeah, nice.
You know, that moved quickly and just helped people as well. You know, like some of the most meaningful things are when clients achieve certain milestones too. You know, Between Two Beers, I keep coming back to them, but, you know, lately they've signed One New Zealand as a sponsor. They're both of the hosts are football guys. Now they're going to the Football World Cup to produce a daily show.
I love this.
Sponsored by Ford and McDonald's.
Wow.
You know, and now they're, I hope they don't mind me saying, a $1 million business. And, you know, they're a podcast that started in their garage six years ago.
And that connection that you have
is
just amazing.
Yeah, you know, one of my really close friends, and just watching their trajectory and their growth is like, it means so much to me. You know, I feel really like personally connected to their show, but I also feel connected to all of our clients, you know, so.
Part of the family, aren't they? You want them to succeed, and it's watching them grow and feeling proud with them.
And now we're at a point where we can work with people that we believe in. You know, we don't have to work with anyone anymore. We can choose. So,
and what a great space to be in.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think probably, you know, I was going to ask you, you know, when everything's stripped away, who is the real Marcus Logan underneath? What sits inside your essence?
I think I've always just wanted to tell stories, and you know. Like going back to growing up and wanting to be a journalist, like I remember we had some writing assignment when I was like year 6 at primary school, and I think it was like writing a poem or something, and I wrote one, and the teacher was like, "Oh my God, this is amazing," and I was like, "Oh wow." And I was just obsessed with reading when I was growing up. I was a massive bookworm, and starting all of these blogs, studying journalism. I just wanted to distill my thoughts and then hear other people's thoughts and distill those and share them and distribute them and put them out into the world to connect with other people. And it's pretty amazing that now that's what we do.
Crazy, yeah.
So I think I've just got something inside of me that just wants to do that, to tell stories and help people make sense of, this confusing and amazing and terrifying and beautiful life that we're all, a part of.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably the essence of everything that I've wanted to do. Sorry.
Yeah, I can see that. It's really, really beautiful. And one day when you're not on this planet anymore, this is always a hard one, but what would you like to be remembered for in your personal life and your professional life? What's your little bit of glitter that you leave behind?
I suppose I just want to have made an impact, like I said, kind of have done something great, have done something remarkable, have helped change people's lives,
Which you do, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that would be amazing. To have pioneered new spaces and taken bold, risky actions that have helped other people's lives and just done something, done something noteworthy.
Yeah, and I think you've done something and are doing something with a lot of heart too. Behind it, which is important.
Yeah.
So, which brings me to the close of this. Now, I have a tradition on my show that at the end of every show, I actually give my guests a little gift.
Oh, okay.
You might already know this.
No, I don't.
No?
Sorry.
Ooh, okay.
Let's go.
I have people asking me, how do I get one of those?
Okay.
So this is a quartz heart.
Yep.
And it has travelled all the way to the South Island, and it's been blessed, Māori blessing, in these crystal, incredible waters that are hundreds of years old coming out of this cave in the South Island. And when you look at this, it looks like a quartz heart, but there's a lot of meaning behind it. And I give these to my guests because, I think what you're doing, I'm about the essence within you that is about heart. It's about what you're putting in to get out, what you're giving to the world. And sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's great. Sometimes there's big problems to be solved. But if you always come back to heart, there's always an answer there. So this is for you to infuse your energy into. If you ever feel lost, if you feel great, if you, whatever, carry it with you. This is yours.
Oh, thank you so much. That's amazing.
And there's a nice little hessian bag
thank you
too.
so much. That's really awesome.
But I really want to say, Marcus, I love this conversation. Could talk about it, do part two. You're such a genuine guy, and I think that you've shared so much that will light people up to maybe have light bulb moments about what they're doing. But I love your drive, love your enthusiasm, love the heart that's behind it. And I know you'll be even more successful, and I'll be able to say, I interviewed her once. So good luck, and not that I think you really need it, just keep doing what you're doing because you're doing an amazing job.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's been really cool to sit down and talk through it all. Thanks for having me on. It's been really awesome. Yeah.
Pleasure. Great to have you on the show.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.